get started, so if you can find your seats, that would be great. Good evening and welcome to our course planning information night for parents and students who are interested in attending. My name is Denise LaMarche, and I'm the Director of Academics here at the school. We thank you for taking time out of your busy evenings to be with us this evening, have an opportunity to hear a little bit about the course planning process, and to be able to meet some of our heads of department and faculty, as well as the academic advisors, and ask many questions that you might have at this point in the process when you're starting to think about course selection for September. So just to give you a little bit of an agenda this evening, we're going to have some information about the timeline and the process for course selection. Some things to keep in mind as you're considering, particularly when your students are entering grade 10 through 12, some aspects to keep in mind in that selection process. We're also going to be having an opportunity to walk around the gym and meet various heads of departments and faculty who are in attendance to ask them any particular questions that you might have. In addition, you're going to hear about a couple new courses that might be of interest to you entering the senior years. So just a few introductions here today. To my left over here, we have our academic advising team. So they're just going to stand and wave, and you're also going to hear directly from them this evening. Alison McCallum, our Director of University Counseling, as well as an academic advisor. Jake Humphreys, Greg Marchand, Ray Casey, Richard Primrose, and we also have Becky Anderson, who's the Director of Leadership, and Dawn Wilson, who oversees our education extension programs. To my right, and I did promise I wouldn't introduce them all individually, but we have our heads of department who are here this evening, and as well, some of them have brought some of their department members here to be here with them. We also have Andy Rodford at the back, who is the director of our senior school, and then Elliot Anderson at the back of the gym, who is one of our assistant directors in the senior school. So you have quite a team here tonight to hear a little bit from. So at this point, I'm going to turn some things over to Alison McCallum, who's going to take you through some of the further information for this evening. Thank you.
Thanks. So in the course selection process that students are starting now, they're going to be making their course selections on the SDS system, which most of you will already be familiar with. It's that portal that you go to, that students log into to see their timetables, and parents log into probably to download your financial statements if you're like me. The students are able to access that system and make their course selections right on the system as we go along. The handbook, that the SMUS course handbook, not for 2013-2014, for 2014-2015, it will be available on the school website. The link should be up tomorrow, so it will also be highlighted in the SMUS weekly that you'll get in your email at the end of the week. For students to go through the process of selecting their courses, we make sure that in grades 8, 9, 10, and 11, all students are going to be meeting with the academic advisors in their classes. So health and career education, planning 10, or graduation transition planning. And one of the four of us, or the middle school HCE teachers, will take the students through the process of what are your options, what are some things to consider. Some of the information, especially that you would hear tonight, they will also hear through those classes. So we look to try and support that in the classroom setting, and then also work individually with students who would like to have that. If you would like to speak with any of the advisors, you certainly could do that as well. But we look to start with them in the classroom and then help them to make choices. The system, the SDS system where students make the course selections, is open for a window of time for 3 weeks to make those selections. Doesn't matter whether you make your selections on the first day or at midnight on the last day. There's no difference, there's no priority sequence in terms of what courses, who gets placed in those courses. We simply take the data that's there at the end on March 9th, and then we look to build a timetable and hope to accommodate as many student requests as possible. In a perfect world, the timetables will be ready in June. That's the plan. That's where we're heading. I'm going to pass you over to Rich Primrose. He's In addition to being head of PE, one of the grade 9 academic advisors. I will mention just briefly that if you're in grade 8 now, coming into grade 9, Mr. Primrose would be the academic advisor for all grade 9 students. Coming out of grade 9 and heading into grade 10, students are assigned to one of the 4 university counselor academic advisors, all of whom you'll hear from tonight. And then that person would stay with your son or daughter, or with you if you're the student, all the way through 10, 11, and 12 to help with the course planning process as well as the post-secondary process. But Rich does our grade 9 program, and he's going to talk more about the senior school program in general.
Thank you. I see lots of grade 8s out here, so lots of questions coming my way, I'm sure. Our academic program at the school comprises both Ministry of Education requirements as well as SMUS requirements we have. And our team of academic advisors will help our students navigate through those requirements and answer any questions they have, including other ways of earning credits. Our education extension program outside of our regular academic program also offers an extensive array of exchange opportunities and different places where students can spend time during their school year. And Mrs. Dawn Wilson is going to speak about that in a bit. Our experiential program is another opportunity available to grade 10 students, and our grade 9 students all have the opportunity to apply for that in their grade 9 year. And Mrs. Becky Anderson is going to speak a bit more about that. And additionally, there's some information coming up about some new courses offered for the 2014-2015 school year here at SMUS. The Ministry of Education requires all students in grades 10 through 12 to have a graduation transition plan. And it's important to note that it's courses beginning in grade 10 and going through grade 12 that count towards graduation credits. Some of the pieces of this graduation transition plan include a requirement of 150 minutes of physical activity per week for students, and that requirement is satisfied for grade 10 and 11 in our PE program. And we also have opportunities for grade 12s who want to stay a part of our PE program as well. Another requirement, the second piece, is 30 hours of documented work experience or community service. And at the school, we use an online platform for tracking that. So students will go online and keep track of their volunteer work or community service. And we also encourage students now to just start thinking about different ways they might want to get involved in the community and start building that portfolio right now. And the final piece of our graduation transition plan is presenting significant accomplishments and documenting those, including post-secondary research and preparing a resume and writing a personal statement. I'll now pass things on to Mr. Greg Marchand.
Thanks, Rich. I'm going to speak a little bit about how students can get credit for courses that they take outside of the school. So the Ministry of Education and indeed SMUS have moved toward the process of allowing students to individualize their education a great deal. And one of the aspects of that is taking courses not here and getting credit for that. So is the correct slide up there? No. So first of all, when students come to the school, one of their first points of contact is the academic grade advisors, and we have a lot of information about the Ministry of Education and what kind of credits students can get. Sometimes students come to us with a transcript from outside of British Columbia, and we go through the process of trying to figure out what the course equivalency is for a particular class that they may have taken outside of BC. So again, we would be the first point of contact, and then we look at those transcripts and make some judgments as to what kinds of credit students can get for courses that they've taken outside of BC. Students can also get credit for challenging particular courses. This is possible, but not always that easy to attain. So again, the point of contact for the students is us, one of the academic directors, the academic advisors. It's also possible for students to get credit outside of the school for summer school programs. A lot of students will, for instance, go down to the United States and take a summer course over the course of sometimes even the full and complete 2 months over the summer. And if they get some documented evidence of that, they can actually get credit for that on their transcript, their BC transcript. So again, bringing that back to us and our looking at it and granting the credit is the process that the students would go through. Students can also gain credit externally for performing arts and for high-level athletics. For instance, if a student is studying at the Royal Conservatory of Music and gets grade 10 piano, for instance, students can be given credit for that, and that will again go on the transcript. If a student is a high-level dancer and takes actual examinations for doing that, again, credit can be granted. Some provincial level and national level athletes can also gain credit that will go on their transcripts. Again, the point of contact is us. Some students actually go on while they're in high school and do post-secondary level courses. Some students will do that online. A couple of students this year who are taking courses at Stanford, they complete those during the year, and once their transcript is completed and they have that documented evidence, they bring it to us and they can actually get credit for it. We also have students who sometimes go up to UVic and take a course during the year which will allow them to get credit on their transcript too. All of that has to go through the heads of department though. So if students are interested in that, it's a pretty onerous process, but the heads of department can help students go through that process and actually get credit. There are also SMUS courses that are taken outside of the timetable that students can get credit for. Ceramics is one of them that students do outside the timetable. AP Environmental Science is another one. The music program has a vocal jazz program and a jazz band program that students can take outside of the timetable and actually get granted credit for it. So if you're interested in that, talk to one of the music teachers here tonight and find out about the process. Vocal jazz, for instance, requires an audition for students to be able to take part in that and then get credit for it. But as you can see, there are a raft of different ways where students can get credit outside of the timetable and even outside of the school. And will be available after for any extra information. So I'm going to pass this on to, I'm not sure who. Dawn, I think, is next.
Thanks, Craig. So good evening. I'm here to tell you a little bit about can everyone see me? I'm here. About the extension programs. And if you're wondering what that is, it's basically programs that are external to the core business of the school. So if you're trying to think, well, where would I find information about that? Then just logically think it's probably under extension. And this is sort of a screenshot of our webpage. So the way you can find us is just under programs on the main homepage. So that's where you find us. And this is a listing of the types of programs that we offer: academic workshops, skills training, music academies. So the next slide really shows you in detail what those are. We do ACT and SAT preparation workshops for students who are interested in trying to get some scores for those exams if they're applying to a US college or university. We offer, in partnership with Wallace Driving School, there's a driver training program, and that actually incidentally is worth 2 credits towards your graduation. So anyone who completes that course is eligible for those credits on their transcript. We also run summer programs and winter programs. This is just a sample of one of the programs we offer in the summer music academies. And the musical theater program is actually also worth 4 academic credits. So there's quite a range of different opportunities during the holiday programs for students who are looking to either extend their knowledge of something or work with an expert on a specific area that they'd like to study more of. The Education Extension Program department also organizes the international programs, so customized groups of students who come and visit the school either during the school year or at the breaks. And I just mentioned this because I often hire students to work with those programs. So they go through a whole process of applying for the position, submitting their resume, sometimes writing a cover letter, sometimes going through an interview process, and then ultimately when they're hired, they become employees, they get a paycheck. So it's really, really valuable work experience opportunities for them when working with those international programs that come. The Education Extension Department also organizes international exchanges, and this is something that I'm really passionate about. We're growing global citizens here at the school, so this is one of the wonderful opportunities that students can take to work towards becoming interculturally competent and just learning more about different cultures and experiencing that firsthand. So this is an overview of the opportunities that are available at the school. And tomorrow there's a grade 9 grade meeting, so I will be going into detail about all of these exchange opportunities. So the grade 9 students will hear all about them from me and also from students who have participated in these exchanges in the past. I've already spoken to the grade 10 class about 2 weeks ago, and there will be a meeting for parents and students who want to attend on February 20th. That is on the calendar already, but I will send out more announcements, and there will be probably something in the SMUS Weekly specifically about that. So that just gives you a taste of the types of exchange opportunities that are available. And if you would like more information, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm on the 3rd floor of the Crotho building, and I'm sure you can find me pretty easily in the SMUS email. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about the experiential program, which is a program offered for grade 10 students. Knowing that such deep learning happens when we get our hands involved, hands dirty, really have those experiences, we have a unique and desirable program for grade 10 students. They have their regular program for the first 2 terms, and then the 3rd program they have this unique opportunity to spend time in the outdoors, focus still on their academics, English, math, and science, which are provincially examinable. A bit of music, still staying in contact with their music teachers and their languages as well. And, but freeing up the afternoons so that they can have different experiences in modern living skills, traditional living skills, outdoor skills, and fine arts. And the program begins with a week-long winter camping trip, and it concludes with an 8-day outdoor excursion in surrounding British Columbia. This is a really, really interesting and wonderful program for our students in grade 10. And I will be speaking to the grade 9s as well tomorrow, so they'll be going home with lots of information. A question that I'm frequently asked, so I'll just say it now, is that there's no one type of student for this kind of program. We have just an interest from all areas and have had great success. So I will be around if anyone has any other questions. And Allison.
There are a few new courses that are going to be offered next year within our academic program. They're all courses that will be in the timetable, unlike some of the things you've just heard about that are outside the timetable. The AP College Board has changed the physics curriculum, and as a result, we've got these 2 new physics courses. We've eliminated one course, which was called AP Physics B, if you've been keeping track of our physics. So now we have AP Physics 1, AP Physics 2, and AP Physics C. Another course that we've added, which is also geared towards grade 11 and 12 students, is Communications 12. It's implemented to complement the English Language Development Program, and it is a provincially examinable course. It's a course that does have a grade 12 provincial exam worth 40% of the mark. We do encourage students, and we'll sometimes ask students in grade 11 and 12 to take this in addition to their English 11 or English 12 curriculum to support their language skills. The last categories of new program that we're offering is called the AP Capstone program. It's a new initiative by the College Board, and SMUS was asked to be one of 9 schools in Canada that are going to pilot the AP seminar course. It'll be offered in September for the first time. Primarily, grade 11 students would be interested in it, but possibly grade 12 students as well. It would be an appealing course for any students who are interested in developing research skills, analysis skills, presentation, communication, and critical thinking. It's a course that's looking to broaden students' experience and abilities in multifaceted way, not tied to any specific curriculum. So it's meant to complement the AP curriculum, but students could also take it without necessarily taking a whole raft of AP courses along with it. They have a diploma that's that's being initiated as well that goes alongside it. So there's an AP seminar course which we'll offer this year in 2014, followed by the AP research course, which would be the second part of the sequence. If students take both of those courses and a complement of AP courses and score the marks that they need to score, they can receive this new diploma called the AP Capstone Diploma. In the AP seminar course, students are going to have the opportunity to explain 2 to 4 relevant topics. Some of the examples they've given are that the students would choose the topics with the teacher doing the course. An example that they've used in other schools when they piloted this last year internationally was they explored the questions of whether national security is more important than a citizen's right to privacy, looked at whether genetic engineering is a benefit to society. So it's really a broad spectrum of areas that could be touched upon by looking at those courses. So it's a new program. It's one we will talk to the students about in grade 10 and give them a lot of information to try and help make sure that the students who are most interested in those kinds of programs are going to be able to grab onto that and run with it. Once we have the students who select the course, we'll look to assess for suitability to make sure that they're the right kinds of students who are going to be successful in that program and are going to really take advantage of what that offers. So in general, as we go through the course selection process, we know as academic advisors and as teachers that there are certain keys for success in the process. We want students to ask questions. We want them to think about the things that they're interested in, what the requirements are, but also what are their strengths, what are their passions, what do they really want to learn more about. We're focused very much on keeping the whole child in the picture and making sure that there's a sense of balance. It's interesting, I'm going to show you a video if it all works. In a second, we asked 2 grade 12 students, Kalkadan Amari and Danny Park, to talk very briefly and off the cuff about the course planning, and you'll hear what they have to say. If she gets it right.
Course selection is a very exciting time of the year. It does not have to be stressful. It runs smoothly if you just take advantage of the resources you have at school. So you have your counselors as well as your grad planning advisors who would like to sit down with you, as well as your homeroom advisors who are happy to help you map out your classes. I advise that when you're mapping out your schedule to definitely keep a balance. Don't neglect your elective classes. It's really important to keep up your PE or your music to have a nice balance in your schedule. Also, do not procrastinate on your university applications.
Especially when you select your courses for grades 11 and 12, you want to research required courses or even recommended courses for the programs offered at universities that you want to attend or programs that you want to take in university. And also, when you are compiling your schedule for the academic year, make sure you look beyond the perceived difficulty of the course. Just because it is an AP course or an advanced course doesn't mean you have to take it in order to challenge yourself. Make sure you really know what the curriculum is about, and that is something you really want to study before selecting the course.
So we do really encourage students to think about what it is that they want to take. They have the opportunity in their classes to talk to teachers about it, in their planning class or HCE class to talk to their classmates as well as to their academic advisors, and then of course to check in with their academic advisor to see if they can help them figure out what are those requirements and how do you balance what you want to do, the things you're going to do outside of school with the academic interests that you have within school, as well as the academic musts that you have to do. I'm going to pass it over to Jake. He's going to have a few moments to speak a little bit about the tying in between the academic program and that thinking ahead about that post-secondary education.
Thank you, Alison. Most Canadian universities accept the AP courses, and we're very proud of our AP program, and and what it does for students. They can be acceptable as admission requirements. In some cases, they'll get advanced standing or transfer credit. And as you can see on the slide, students need to plan to do well in an AP course if they want that advanced standing at the university level. If they're applying to US universities, competitive US universities pretty much expect to see AP on the transcript. And in the UK, although they don't expect it, they do appreciate it. So AP is a good thing to do for a variety of reasons, academic enrichment and more mechanical, almost mercenary, I guess, reasons of advancing you in your university career early on. A second language at the 11 or 12 level is required for UBC and SFU, not elsewhere, but it's very important for those folks who are planning UBC or SFU to make sure that that second language is there. And I spoke today to Mr. Klenz's homeroom group about various items in the planning process, and I made the point to them that you cannot go wrong taking language ability into your university education, even if the universities don't require it. So there's a bit of a plug for languages. We live in a global world. Everything in business, science research is now global, and opportunities expand for students who have language background. You've got a lot of support mechanisms here, you students and parents as well. But in the long run, the student must own the university research and application process. We as advisors and the heads of departments and so on don't take responsibility for student choices. We support what they do, and we give them sometimes massive amounts of counseling, and we'll help them to find their way through the forest. But students must begin to own that process, and it's a very good idea for any student entering grade 9 to start thinking about being the master of his or her own path. And by the time they get to grade 10, they have to actually practice this sort of thing in their planning classes. Very important. Program-specific recommendations. We as advisors get these questions every year, and we answer them the same way every year. But we will say them again because they bear repeating. There are two basic streams of math offered in our school. One is the pre-calculus math, and the other is the foundations of math. The pre-calculus math is required for science, engineering, and many business programs. The foundations of math, which is a different course, has a different topic matter, not easier, just different, is a great option for students who intend to pursue the humanities, the social sciences, fine arts, or nursing. One little point we get all the time is the question of whether we have to have a Math 12 to graduate. So there are two separate concerns here. One is satisfying the Ministry of Education with its basic graduation requirement, and the other is satisfying a university for its program entry. The Ministry of Education insists on a Mathematics 11. The universities are the ones that want the 12-level math, but once again, I tell my students for advising, you can't go wrong having a bit of extra math in your background as you enter university. Even in the social sciences group, which commonly don't require the pre-calculus math or even a foundations math 12, they're going to do statistics courses. Why not go in a little better prepared? Engineering programs and science programs are the most demanding in terms of entry requirements. Most science programs require 2 grade 12 sciences. Not every single one, but most do. They also want to see that pre-calculus 12, and they want to see the calculus 12. Anytime a student finds on a university website calculus 12 recommended for science, they should in their own mind cross out that word recommended and put required. I wish I had $10 for every time students from our school come back to report that their classmates who did not have high school calculus crashed and burned in first-year sciences, because you have to take calculus in first-year university, and without some high school background, you're in trouble. The engineering faculties go further than just those requirements and say that The 12-level sciences must be physics and chemistry. So they are the single most demanding faculty in any university, and with good reason. You hit the ground running in engineering, you have a larger program than every other faculty. It's very demanding, exceptionally rewarding, of course, if that's what you want to do and you do it well. But you've got to have that good mark in English, the good mark in pre-calc, the calculus, the physics, and the chemistry if you want to be an engineer. Now, at this point, I think we'll move on to Mrs. Casey's information for you on resources in general.
Thanks, Jake. All right, you've had lots of information, and now it's time to tell you how to go about finding all of that information so that you can make the very best choices. You need to understand that this is a team process that we're talking about here, which involves teachers, faculty advisors, and also parents, and of course students. And in looking at these resources, a lot of this information will be shared amongst all of those stakeholders. If you want advice on specific courses, I know that I'm certainly not the person that you'll want to talk to about mathematics. I know a little bit about math. I have a fairly good idea about pre-calculus and foundations and the differences between the two. But if you want to know something about math specifically and whether you're going to study radicals in one course and quadratics in another, then quite likely Mrs. Abreu is going to be the person that you'll want to see and not me at all. So please do seek out information from the folks who are sitting over here, because they are going to have the best knowledge about the courses that they're teaching. And so when you're thinking about course selection, please do contact your teachers and certainly the heads of departments for each of those subjects. For course and graduation planning, that's when you start to come to speak with the academic advisors / university counselors. We're the folks who will be able to guide you in that process of moving on through your courses, through grade 10, 11, and 12, and then on out to post-secondary education. So that's when you'll want to visit us, as well as doing your course planning. For post-secondary requirements, there are lots of places where you can find information. Of course, the best place to find information is on the university websites and post-secondary school websites. They will have tons and tons of information. Quite often it's daunting to move through those, so it's in your best interest to start early with this, with some ideas about post-secondary choices. Have a look on the websites and see what they might have to say, and then come on in and talk to us if you have further questions. We do have still print materials in our library in the University Counseling Center, so please feel free to come by and have a look at those. Students can sit in our library in our area and peruse those magazines, or they can sometimes sign them out, and a lot of that information again is available on the websites. We also have GTP classes in grades 11 and 12, and in those we spend quite a bit of time talking about the various universities and the programs and what is required to get into those. If you want to do some career exploration, we do that through some of the software that we have available in HCE 9, which is a course for those of you who are coming up to grade 9, and also in Planning 10. And we come into the Planning 10 classes as well, as the teachers have quite a bit of information for that. We also have a software program called Naviance, and in Naviance you'll be able to find information about scholarships and university information and that sort of thing. For post-secondary institution information, again, Naviance is a great spot. University college websites. We do have Moodle as well, and we do post information up into Moodle. There is a parent site to come into on that, as well as a student site. We have a blog on the website, on the SMUS website, and you're welcome to cruise by there. If we go on campus visits, we often blog about our experiences there, and so you'll get some insight into where we've traveled recently. We do go on campus visits. All of us travel. We travel not because we want to get to the sunny south in May, but because we are really anxious to go out to see these universities to get some sort of a feeling for the campuses. I would recommend too that as part of your research, if you can, to travel to some of the schools that your children are thinking about. They will get a very visceral feeling about some of those universities just by walking on the campus. They get an idea of the feel of it. They have a look at the people who are there. They have a chance to talk to admissions officers and so on. And it is a really great idea if you can actually go out and visit. They also are able then to write on their personal statements perhaps, or their supplements about their visits to the universities, and it makes it just that much more personal experience. We do have upwards of 80 to 90 university visitors per year. They generally come at lunchtime or sometimes in the morning breaks. Students are welcome to sign up and come out to hear from university visitors, especially those who come from the States. Quite often the people who are traveling are also the people who read the applications, and so it's a great opportunity for your child to meet with an admissions officer who's also going to be reading their application to university. We do hold some presentations and fairs as well. We have the Ivy universities all come through and spend an evening with us. So do keep an eye peeled on the SMUS website for that sort of information. It is, as Jake said, the onus is on the students primarily to come up with ideas and to do the research. And of course, we're there to support them along with you and all of the information that we have available for them. Thank you. Back to Allison.
Okay, so we've inundated you with a lot of information, hopefully not too much detail, but enough to get you going. The heads of department are going to find their way over to the tables. We have them all labeled, so you can go and find them if you have specific questions. You might be wondering about that math course or what some of the specific options are that are specific to SMUS, which might be a little bit unique. So students, thanks for coming out. If you have any questions, please let us know.